Welcome back, everybody. Today I want to talk about this lovely little card, Pikachu with Grey Felt Hat. I'm also going to be taking a look at the Squirtle that was exclusive from the Pokemon Center. Why I want to talk about this is because so many people know about supply and demand, but we forget about FOMO and we forget about this thing called momentum, or we choose not to anyways. With this Grey Felt Hat card, why I love it so much is because it reminds me of this Kramer portrait. If anybody's out there that watched Seinfeld back in the day, you'll know that there was individuals looking at this portrait. And in the end, even though they hated it at first, they came to love it. And I have a wife. My wife hates cards, absolutely hates cards. She hates that I have sleeves everywhere, boxes everywhere, wrappers in the trash. It's just annoying to her. Well, in the end, what I did was I showed her this card. She plays Pokemon Go with me. She's barely seen any of the cartoon or anime. But when she saw this card, she absolutely loved it. When she saw the figure that was there for sale on the Van Gogh collection, she wanted it. And I ended up getting it. So good job me, because she wasn't pissed off when I got the other stuff that came in. She was like, oh, my figure and all my cards. So that was really cool. Maybe one day she'll get in the cards a little more. I'm trying to gateway her in, and maybe this is one of the ways to actually do it. Yes, I did get her a bunch of the Pokemon Go cards as well, but this Pikachu with Grey Felt Hat, and I say that because when you show people this, if they have any inkling on cuteness or if they have a little bit of interest in Pokemon, I think anybody that looked at this card thought this was an amazing card. And thus, we have supply and demand. You have a bunch of people that wanted this, and some of the people did not actually like this kind of stuff to begin with. Like, in general, they didn't like it. You see this with Wise Schwartz. I talk about that a lot. People that have an interest in anime but don't actually like cards, they might buy it for the anime that they actually like. Now, with this card, it was just super cute. And I know people thought Pokemon Center was going to print a bunch of this, and it didn't happen that way, right? I'm just going to tell you straight up. I was one of the people that had my order canceled on the wave number two. I did get some other stuff, but I really wanted that freaking jigsaw puzzle. I didn't get it. That was very disappointing. So I want to just talk about what you could do in the future. So just a little talk about the stock market. I know people hate when you associate cards with the stock market, but there are a lot of principles that you can pick up from the stock market that you could apply to other things out there. So you can do that to Neopets. You could do that to cards, as we're seeing. But one of the things I want you to think about is if you've ever bought stock, or if you haven't bought stock, then maybe think about a booster box, or in this case, a card. You're going to be like, I could buy this at $60, but I think it's going to go down. So I'm going to wait till it goes down. I'll buy it at 50. And how many times have you been burnt by that thought? Right? It just goes up and up and up and never comes down, and you just kick yourself all day long for it. And the reason is because supply and demand happens. You have momentum, you have FOMO, and that's exactly what happened in this case, right? Everybody thought it was going to go down. They waited and waited and waited. Meanwhile, there's other people that said, you know what, I'm not going to wait around. This basically looks like where I should be picking it up. Or I don't care. I just love this card. Or maybe I have a wife that really wants this card and I don't want her to kill me. So this is what I got to do. I got to go buy it. And now when you're at $180, you're like, damn it, I should have bought it. Now what do you do? Now, I will say, for anybody caught in this kind of scenario, you need to set limits on yourself. You're going to be like, I hope it goes down to this point. Obviously, I'm going to buy it at this point. If it goes up to a certain point, maybe I should just pull the trigger and buy the card, buy the stock, buy whatever you are looking at, because that happens all the time in the stock market. Like right here with Tesla. Can you imagine if you were this guy on June, whatever this date is? This is May 31st. And you're going to be like, I am waiting for it to go down. But it never does. You see it. It just climbs and climbs and climbs and climbs and climbs. And eventually goes down, but it didn't go back down to where you wanted it at. So what do you do then? You just sit there and be just disappointed. One of those things is you need to set limits. And if it goes higher to over the point that you no longer want this, right? I said 60 earlier. What if it went to 200? What do you do? I think what you have to tell yourself is Is that card worth it? Is it going to make me happy buying it at $200? If the answer is no, then you know what you should do? You should take a look at other cards out there. I know there's other cards out there like this Edvard Munch collection. You could see here we got Psyduck, Rowlet, Eevee, Mimikyu, and Pikachu. Now, this is no Pikachu with Grey Felt Hat, but I definitely think it's one of those ones where I wouldn't just forget about it because they look really cool. If I showed someone this Pikachu, if I show this to my wife, I don't think she would like it as much as the Grey Felt Hat, but it doesn't look all that awful either. I think it's amazing looking. Like if you say Grey Felt Hat Pikachu is a 10, I think she would give the Edvard Munch one a 9, right? It's such a nice card as well. Definitely want to get that. I stare at this and I'm like, want to get it. So that's what you need to do. I know there's a lot of people upset out there that they didn't get the Grey Felt Hat, but just think about it. There's a sea of Pikachus out there in the world, and you just need to find the one that fits your budget. It's disappointing, like I said, that people didn't get this card just because it is an amazing looking card, but sometimes you just gotta let it go. Or when you get more money in the future, come back to it. Or hopefully Pokemon actually does make some more of these cards and you're able to pick it up. That would be really nice. While I'm here, what I want to talk about is Squirtle, the Pokemon Center exclusive, because this holds some of that principle as well. What you're going to notice here is I've made a video back in August about this. You have this Pokemon Center logo in the bottom right. This comes from your ETBs, right? Paldea. And then you see that there is a normal version of this card and an exclusive Pokemon Center logo one. You can also see that from Obsidian Flames. I showed a bunch of other ones in that video. So here's that Charmander. I love it so much. So again, $675 was the price back in August. The price is different now. It is definitely lower. And the Pokemon Center one back then was $32. Now, when you take a look at these, what was actually going on was the price of the ETB from the Pokemon Center was $90 for Obsidian Flames. You can see that $90. The original price is $60. The stamp PR card is roughly $32. So when you do the math on it, it comes out to be roughly around the $90 mark. It was actually $92, but $90. Let's just go with that. So you can see what's actually happening. There is a cost differential there that is made up by the price of the Pokemon Center stamp. So what you have here on this one was, what is going on? What actually happened was when this first came out, right down here from the Pokemon Center, when people got it, they were pricing it with that price differential. What you had to buy was this Ultra Premium Collection that was $120. People could get that Ultra Premium Collection, I think I've seen as low as $90. So roughly $30, $40 if you use tax and all that is the differential. And you can see what happened when this first came out. This was $42, $43, $41. Let me zoom in more just so you can make sure you can see it. $41, $40. So roughly around that area. But then people started thinking to themselves, it's like, you could only have gotten it from the Ultra Premium Collection. It's a Squirtle with a stamp. I'm going to need that if I want to say I want to do a Master Collection, Master Set, Master Collection. So people started noticing, they're like, wait a second, maybe there's not a ton of these things out there as we thought. And it started going up. It started going to 66, it went to 70, 90, 105, 124. The momentum picked up. There was a bunch of people that were FOMOing into this. They're like, oh my God, thank God I bought this. You could see this line on this Stark Market grid right here just moving up. And that's exactly what happened. It's one of those ones where what I will say again is FOMO is going to make you do some crazy things. So if you bought it for $120 and now it's 86, I guess $90 when you add that all together, you're going to be kicking yourself. And that's where momentum, stock market principles come in. You should just go and set a limit for yourself, right? If $120 is going to make you really pissed off to buy it, I would just say forget it, because in the end of the day, when you take a look at this card, there is the only difference on here is that Pokemon Center stamp on this card, right? You can just go and get this lovely Squirtle, the exact same Squirtle with no logo for I guess $1.03 off TCG Player. Obviously, you could get it lower. That's just with the shipping on there if you get $5 worth. But anyways, you get my point. When it comes to these cards, they're all very lovely cards. But do you really want to spend back in the day $120 or $90 for this card? You have a lot of people just thinking that they should and then getting angry at themselves in the end. I think this is an important life lesson that what? When you see a card, say this is how much I want to buy it for. And if it goes down to this price, I'll buy it. If it goes above this price, I will not buy it. I'm just going to move on with my life because there's a lot of people thinking to themselves that, one of the ways to go about this is just being angry and then yelling at other people that they didn't get this card or just being disappointed. And I think that there's a bunch of other lovely cards out there in the world. There's a lot of happiness in the world that you can have just by looking at other things. And I will say, you might as well take that money, hang out with your family, and take them out to a nice little dinner or a movie. I think that would be an amazing thing outside of just getting this Pokemon Center exclusive Squirtle card when you have the same art right here. Anyways, that's everything. If you need me for any reason, here is my contact information. It's all in my description. But as always, have fun, be happy, and don't spend anything outside your budget. Have a good one.